I got a comment on one of my videos that I thought was interesting. It came from Jamie Hernandez. He said he was new to investing in stocks, but he had been quite good at betting on sports, and he just can't figure out how do you pick the stock that's going to go up, but he does know how to bet on sports. And I got to thinking about that. Betting on sports, you're betting on the spread. How many points will Alabama beat Vanderbilt by? And if you get the spread right, you win. On the other hand, if you get it wrong, you don't. So what do you do as a bettor on sports? I think what you do is the first thing you do is you study the quarterback. And then you just study his wide receivers, and then you just study the defensive line. And you get the data on the players to help you make a better bet, whether it's professional or it's college, or if it's boxing or it's volleyball. You bet on the players and their past performance to indicate what the future performance is going to be. Well, that's the same way in stocks. You find the category that has growth potential. Right now, that's AI, and it's moving towards electricity and data centers and things of that nature. So you study the companies that are seeing a change, an increase in their revenues, because again, if whether it's a data center or it's NVIDIA or it's the local hardware store. The first thing that happens before the value of the company goes up is they find a way to increase their revenues. So if I have access to all the revenues of all the companies, and I can compare them last year to this year, and if the number is going up, and in my analysis, it's got to be going up by at least 20%. If the revenues are going up, that means they got more money coming in. Now what I study is how efficient are they in turning that money that's coming in, the revenues, into profits. So I look at it and say, okay, what were their profits last year and what were their profits this year? And did they go up by a number that I use to determine that they're going to grow exponentially? And if they can put a series of years like that together where their revenues are going up and their earnings are going to go up, their price is going to go up. It's really that simple. You only need to know, are the revenues going up and are the earnings going up? And are they going up at a rate that separates them from their peers? And if they separate themselves from their peers, their price is going to go up faster than their peers. Now, where do you get that data? Well, as John Rogers told me, read their annual reports, Kerry. Sit in on their quarterly statements, and they'll tell you. You just got to write it down and figure it out and do the math, and you'll win. That's what an analyst does at Goldman Sachs or J.P. Morgan or any hedge fund. But where do you get that data? Well, up until about 5 years ago, you didn't, unless you got the annual reports and you somehow got into the quarterly earnings meetings. But today, it's all available on the internet. You just got to subscribe to the sources so that you can get timely change, so that you can get a transcript of their earnings report the next morning. And you review it, and you then compare it to their balance sheet and their income statement and their cash flow statement, and you got all you need, Jeremy, to win at the game. But you got to be able to interpret it. Now, you might say, how am I don't know a PE ratio from a PEG ratio. I don't know what the difference between operating earnings and gross earnings or net earnings. I don't know the difference. Well, you have to hire someone who does. Now, again, that would have meant that you would have to go on with some major company that has analysts to advise you which stocks to buy. But you don't have to do that now. You just got to build an AI agent. And that's what I did. Jensen Huang told me about a year and a half ago that someday I would have an AI agent. And I thought it would be a computer that sat right there, and I'd ask it questions and it'd give me answers. But that's not what it is. It's ChatGPT. And you create a relationship with ChatGPT that you feed the data that you've gotten from the various sources on the internet that you subscribe to, and then you feed that data to your AI agent. Your AI agent you train through building a prompt as to how to recognize the next Tom Brady, but in this case, the next Amazon or Nvidia. You train them to recognize the paths that Nvidia traveled to get to its exponential growth, and then you just plug it in and say, is this one of them? Does this stock fit the attributes of Nvidia? Does it fit the attributes of Amazon? Does it fit the attributes of Google? And if it comes back and says yes, then you know it's going to go up. And that's what I have done over the last 6 months. And as a result, my portfolio's up over 100% each 6 months. Now, the other thing that's kind of cool about it is when a stock drops, you can immediately go in and say, was this created by a one-time event, or is this an indication of the future? And if, in fact, it shows you that the data shows you, yes, their revenues slowed down and are not growing at the rate that they should be, and thus their earnings have slowed down, then it's time to get out. It's that simple. And the crazy thing is, it's just like anything else. There are a few people who figure out before everybody else is. And I'm going to show you one of those guys who figured it out before everybody else did. That's me, okay? And how is it that I have been able to, because I've been playing this game longer than anybody else, other than Warren Buffett. I mean, I'm 81 years old. I've seen the dot-com bubble. I've seen the subprime crisis. I saw what created the bubble, the growth of the internet. And then once the infrastructure was built, there was no profits coming in, so the market crashed. The subprime crisis was a false growth of the real estate market because of bad banking because of bad banking practices. And then once those bad banking practices were shut down and the flow of money stopped, the market crashed. So the same thing is happening again. We've got the internet being built. No, it's the AI internet. We've got the real estate being built. No, it's the AI being built. And if it isn't monetized at the end of the build out, it'll crash. There's just no doubt about it. And so right now, is OpenAI making money? No, they're spending money. But they're spending it in a place that I can find it, and that's whose prices are going up. And that's why I'm up 100%. That's why the NASDAQ is up 0.03 today, and I'm up 3% today. Because I'm invested where the revenues are growing, the earnings are growing, and the prices are going up. So, if you're a sports bettor, it's the same game. It's based on data. And from the data, you determine the spread, and then you bet against or with the spread, and you make money. It's not that difficult. It's just like I'm sure if I sat down with a brain surgeon, he'd say, it's not that difficult, Kerry. You just open the head up, you go and you go in, and you move this to there and that to there. It's not that difficult if you know what you're doing, okay? But the crazy thing is, in the stock market, 90% of the people lose money because they don't know what they're doing. Okay, this was a fun video. I had a lot of fun doing it. If you want access to this kind of information and you want me to do the work, I'll let you in. We've got a few seats left on the bus. That's the bus portfolio, best of us. Go to the link in the description and sign up. You get I think we still have a free trial. Either way, give it a go. You can cancel anytime if you can't make the kind of return that you'd like to make on your portfolio. Again, it's all accessing the data. Now, again, you can build your own AI agent, as I have, and chat and sign up for the 200 and I think I pay $216 a month, and I'm sure it's going to go up because let's be real. If I have a tool that I can make $50,000 a day with, and I've done that, and it cost me $216 a month, and the seller figures that out, do you think he might raise the price somewhere down the line? Yeah, he probably will. Do you think I'd pay it? Hell yes, I'd pay it. No, this is a gift. It's a gift from I don't know who, but I'm enjoying it. Come join me and let's have some fun together.